What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content daily. We also stream over on Twitch at This Is Aftersound, so come by, say hello. We do giveaways every stream, and we just have a lot of fun. Okay, so this video, I wanted to talk about DEC and the future of DEC. So that's exactly why I have that SPS 2022 roadmap up, which was released only 9 days ago. Man, the beginning of the year has gone very, very slowly. Let me just put it that way, in a good way. I guess I want to savor each and every day. So where I want to focus is down on, let's see if I can find it here. DEC. So this is under the Rift Watchers. Okay, here's the thing. We were expecting, and I already alluded to this in the SPS roadmap deep dive video, but we were expecting DEC to be the only currency available to be used to buy Rift Watchers, which would in turn allow it to be burned. And in that way, somewhat keep its utility, keep its value a little bit higher, especially with all the DEC that has been printed due to the game becoming very popular, due to the amount that DEC is above its peg. But we got a huge flipperoo, switcheroo, whatever you want to call it. And now it's going to be SPS. And that is all still going into the SPS Foundation. So if you are an SPS holder and staker, you own that in a sense, or at least you own what the team is going to be able to do with that. But going back to DEC, here is where I want to focus on this last paragraph here. We are aware that this will shift what was previously a significant source of utility for the DEC token over to the SPS token. At the moment, DEC derives much of its value from the ongoing SPS airdrop, so adding more utility for SPS indirectly also adds more utility for DEC as well. When the airdrop ends next summer, we plan to add additional utility for DEC token and to work to structure it in a way that hopefully makes it more stable, makes it a more stable transactional currency for the Splinterlands. Okay, so there's some things that I agree with in this, and there's some things that I don't. At the moment, DEC derives much of its value from the ongoing SPS airdrop. This is what I guess bothers me a little bit, right? Like, it was never meant to be used as an airdrop point. Okay, actually, no. Let me clear that up because Aggie's been very specific about it. So it was never meant to have, I guess, the weight that it did, right? And therefore to be driven so much up from its peg where people would be buying it off the market rather than just trying to win it in the game, right? So to me, I just don't like the way that it sounds, especially coming from like an official capacity where, the only utility, or at least much of the value that it has, or it derives much of its value from being an airdrop point. Like, that to me is like, okay, well, here, go buy this currency so that you earn some of this currency. And in a sense, if that's how they wanted to do it, that's fine. It's just that didn't seem to be the original intention. And as everybody is looking at it now, it's just so high up off of its peg. So again, I'm not trying to throw shade at anything. It's just, I was reading this and I was like, okay, what are the things that stick out to me here? When the airdrop ends next summer, we plan to add additional utility for the DEC token. This is actually very bullish for DEC, in my opinion. And if you've known this channel, if you've known me or been following me, I have been incredibly bearish on DEC to the point where I've probably pissed a bunch of people off thinking that, that I don't care about the game. But I do. I was just trying to say, like, here, after reading the DEC white paper, I was just trying to let everyone know this is what the algorithm says it's going to do. And you will be fighting that algorithm until the end of time. So the other part of this, and I've alluded to it on live streams, I've alluded to it probably in previous videos as well, is the thing is, if DEC goes back to its peg, which is something that the team is expecting it to do, and by removing some of the utility that it has, right, as the only currency to purchase Rift Watchers, right, that's being removed, and now they're saying that most of its value is just going to be as an airdrop point. So as we get to the end of the airdrop and it goes back to its peg, or goes back down closer to its peg, I've talked about how the overall rewards from DEC will not make sense anymore, right? At a point last year, or towards the end of last year, when we were 15x our peg, the amount of DEC being printed, and I'm not going to go through the math of it now, but the amount of DEC being printed was 15x its normal. So there's 15 million DEC being printed a day at a value of 1.5 cents per token, which meant that players were earning $225,000 in rewards every single day. Now, if that goes down, we get hit twice, because not only does the value go down, but the print rate goes down as well. So if we're down to the peg at 1 million DEC, that will mean, if we're down at the peg of 0.001, where 1 million DEC is printed, that means that there's only $1,000 of rewards, like ranked battle rewards in DEC given out every day, right? That's a 225x, right, from where we were in October and November when DEC was at its highest. So obviously we've come down a huge way from there. I believe right now, today at about 0.0042 cents, we're at about 25,000, right? And that's down from 225,000. So if this goes back down, what is everybody playing for, right? Like, we wanted to be winning enough DEC to buy more assets in the game, to buy SPS, whatever the case is, or for some people around the world, or wherever you are in the world, it doesn't even matter. But some people in certain situations take that DEC and pay their bills. Like, I think that's awesome. So I'm not trying to take anything away from that. The thing here is that if that happens, there will no longer be, to me, an incentive, right, to go in and try to win games for DEC itself. Like, the value of DEC is going to be down, and the amount of DEC that you win per game is going to be down as well. So to me, that was always an issue that I was worried about, that I'm sure the team was aware of. And this right here, all right, so this sentence right here: when the airdrop ends next summer, we plan to add additional utility for the DEC token and to work to structure it in a way that hopefully makes it more stable. I have mixed feelings about this, right? Because it really depends on how they go about it. I love the fact that they're looking at it, but I think in order to keep the community's trust, and I doubt that the team is even going to go anywhere near this. I'm just trying to be as kind of open and transparent about how I'm thinking about this, right? When it comes down to it, you don't want the team to be changing things structurally once they're already set. They didn't change DEC and take it off its peg, as many people wanted them to do, just because it was boosted up because of the airdrop, right? So when it comes to this, and when they say they're going to work to structure it in a way, my fear is that they potentially take DEC off its peg, which I don't think that would be the ideal way to go about it, right? So when they work to structure it in a way, that is my fear. I don't think the team is going to do that. I think that there would probably be a lot of pushback if they went around and just started changing how the algorithm of a token that's been around for several years works. So if they keep it on its peg, right? And again, it's just a soft peg. How can they add utility? How can they drive the price up? Therefore, making more DEC issued, right, at higher valuations. Because who wouldn't want DEC to be back up at a penny or a penny and a half, and all of a sudden Splinterlands players are earning $200,000 in rewards from ranked battles every single day? That's separate, completely separate from tournaments. That's completely separate from SPS ranked battle rewards. That'll just be DEC. So to me, there is an incentive for them to add some type of utility to DEC. Now, is that going to change how I feel about DEC? And am I going to start stacking DEC and holding it? The honest answer is I don't know, right? At this point in time, until we hear something, I don't think so. I think that DEC, especially if they're going to let DEC just kind of run its course through the end of the airdrop. Keep in mind, the airdrop goes for another 200-ish days or so, right? So that's 6 months from now. That's probably going to be mid to end of July. I haven't looked at the exact date. But until then, if they're expecting DEC to do that, with the broader macro crypto market in mind, I don't know if we're going to go back up. I don't know if we're going to go down further. I don't know if we're in a bear market or if we're in just a lull period. To me, holding DEC, at least at this point, it's not as big of a risk as it was before. Because I think the fact that the team is looking at this and trying to figure out a way to go about it in terms of adding some type of value to DEC in the future gives me a lot of optimism for DEC. Now, again, it's weird to me because now we have two tokens that are looking to do almost the same thing, right? They're kind of bleeding over into one another. And I don't know how the team is thinking about this, although I'm sure there's a lot of smart minds thinking about it there. I'm just trying to break it down into how I look at it for you guys so that we can all, well, just so that I can, just so I can put it out there and start a discussion. But, SPS is meant to be a governance token, and yet here it is being used like a currency, right? We're going to be earning it in rewards whenever we play, and it's being used as a way to purchase items in game now. That wasn't supposed to be the case, at least from my understanding from a governance token. That's not supposed to be the case. Now, if SPS was the only token around, then sure, have at it. It's an all-in, right? It does everything. But DEC was always meant to be the currency within the game. It is referred to as an in-game currency, and SPS was referred to as a token, as a governance token. So you already see SPS kind of bleeding over, especially now that we see Rift Watchers. What we're going to see is DEC is the currency, and based on how it's set up with its soft peg and potential, room to grow or whatever, if it loses its value from the end of the airdrop, they will therefore try to add utility back into the DEC token. So now it's like, okay, well, here you have a currency that they're trying to add utility to now. So not that DEC is going to become any kind of governance token. And in that way, I think they will always be separate, right? If you want to have governance within the game, then you need to have SPS. Whereas if you want to have whatever they put into DEC, you'll need to have DEC. Now, how that separates out, I don't know how it's going to play out. But to me, just, listening through the roadmap that they have for 2022, land, all these things that are coming in, it seems like there will be a lot of avenues to kind of separate out what is SPS used for and what is DEC used for. So if you're holding and stacking DEC, I don't think that it's a terrible idea anymore. Although I would say that you might still be in for a bumpy ride. For me, I'm holding some DEC right now, mainly because I'm waiting for the general sale. Usually I don't like to hold that much DEC, but even now at this point, it's just like, well, it's not the most terrible thing, right? So, new information comes to light and everybody reserves the right to be able to change their minds. So anybody who's looked at me and said, oh man, now you're changing your mind about DEC, that's exactly what it is. Looking at this and seeing that they might add some utility to DEC is a good sign, right? Because even though I never thought that we would get to the point where, DEC would completely fall flat on its face, I knew that the team would try to be working on something. And my hope is that they can implement whatever they are trying to implement for DEC utility before the end of the airdrop. My fear is that they're so backed up with all the awesome things that they are trying to bring to the table, and it may not happen by that time, right? Keep in mind that general sale happens in January. They're talking about late Q2 for modern format, and they're talking about land in some time. Sorry, they're talking about late Q1 for modern format, so maybe March or so. And they're talking about, late Q2 for the phase 1 of land. Now, the team is bigger now. They can address things, concurrently. So hopefully all my fears are just my fears, right? And not actual things that people should be worried about, or maybe the team is worried about. But again, just trying to throw that out there, that there may be this ride where it goes back down, and who knows what kind of utility there will be. Until we know more information, it's very hard to price DEC. So to look at it now and say, 0.004 or whatever it is, yeah, I mean, look, you're still getting stupid returns on the airdrop. So if you're benefiting from that, more power to you, right? My fear was of 2 months ago when we were 3x where we are now. So we're down, more than 60, maybe 70% at this point. So seeing it come back down to this level is exactly what I feared. Now that we're at this level with new information given about potential utility for DEC, my mind is starting to say, what if? So let me know your thoughts. Would be curious to see if you guys read this differently than I did. But that's all I have for you in this video today. Hopefully it was helpful or insightful, or at the very least entertaining. I will catch you all in the next video, and I will see you around the game. Have an awesome rest of your day.